Alright guys, how is it going? Today's video is going to be covering the update number 48 from May and June 2025. We're going to go over the patch notes, some of the numbers, and all of that. This is going to be a very long video, so buckle up, or I'm going to go ahead and put chapters down in there so you can click around. Maybe you're only interested in certain classes or certain issues that maybe you are experiencing on the latest alpha playtest, stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So what we got now is the update number 48 for May and June. This is written always by Shawn Lord, aka A Loving Robot. We are also going to touch on update number 47, the previous update, which covered March and April, and the previous playtest, because the comprehensive server number breakdown isn't available yet for this set of patch notes. It'll be available soon, but I want to take a look at the previous one, and then we'll compare at a later date. We'll compare this one to the previous one that we cover today. So let's go ahead and just start here. Again, written by Shawn Lord, A Loving Robot. Links to his YouTube, the Twitch that he streams a lot of his dev work on, and also the Monsters and Memories YouTube where they upload the VODs after the fact. I miss most of the lives because they go when I'm at work. Anyways, here we go. Hi all, thanks for showing up to the June 27th playtest weekend. We had a great time and even got more useful data. We also found a few critical bugs during the playtest, which we were able to immediately address on the tech side. We're following this recent 3-day playtest with a 5-day playtest at the end of this month, at the end of July. The July open playtest will run from Wednesday the 23rd through Sunday the 27th. We hope to see you there. Oh, and before I forget, we'd like to give a huge thanks to everyone that brought friends, family, old guildmates, etc. to this playtest this time around. There was a noticeably number of comments from people who dragged their people along with them. It's incredibly heartwarming to hear. Thanks so much. So the June playtest overview. The next playtest is coming up fast, so we really wanted to get this update out ASAP. We'll follow up with a more detailed breakdown and some of the analysis of the June playtest soon. So that was what I was talking about earlier. For now, here are some of the high-level stats to tide you over. There was 5,592 unique accounts logged in. There was 1,274 concurrent players. 8.22 average hours played per account, 500 plus players supported in a single zone, that being Night Harbor, which was the main town. It's much like Freeport if you come from EverQuest, where there is a newbie zone attached to the main town. We'll hopefully post the more detailed update this week. So that's what we'll be doubling back on. So while I have you here and with this information, 5,592 unique accounts, 1,274 concurrent. So let's take a look at the previous update here, the update number 47 from March and April. And let's take a look at the comprehensive breakdown here as well. So you see here with the April playtest results, there are the 3 servers. Rel is the bigger of the 2 normal servers. Krivia is the smaller of the 2. This is the one I play on. Haradrel is the PvP server, so it is by far the smallest. That's just how it's going to go. So it looks like in the previous playtest, the average hours played was 9.9. So you can see that the overall max players was 1,067. If we look back, that was compared to 5,592. I'm sorry. That was compared to 1,274 concurrent players. So it's up a solid 20%. for unique players. The total accounts here was 4,397. So that is also up to 5,592. You can see the average hours per account was almost 10, which seems ridiculous. But here's the thing. As we get closer to launch, we are going to have more. I believe the numbers will keep increasing like we saw here. But this average hours per account played will likely go down as a lot of the hardcore people looking forward to the game have gotten a lot of time in already, and some of the people who are just checking it out because they're getting hyped about the release that is getting ever so sooner are just gonna pop in, check a couple things out, and bounce it. So like the more players, probably this number will continue to drop, but that's not a bad thing. That's just how things go. Anyways, what makes this one so comprehensive is that you'll see a bunch of totals here, and a lot of cool stuff that we can take a look at. You see player activity, days played. You see class totals. That's something cool to look at. Sorry, keep scrolling a little extra. Class totals. You can see here, we'll just go in ascending order here. From most to least, you got Beastlord, Bard, Druid, Necro, Shaman, Fighter, aka Warrior, Shadow Knight, Rogue, Spellblade, Elementalist, Enchanter, Ranger, Wizard, Cleric, Monk, Archer, Paladin, and at the very bottom, Inquisitor. Inquisitor is going to be a class that's a hybrid of, say, a Warrior Enchanter or Fighter Enchanter. I think that's going to be very interesting. We look at some of the race totals, also in ascending order from most to least. You got humans, elves, goblins, dwarves, gnomes, ogres, and halflings. So obviously humans are the most, but humans can also be every class in the game. So I think that they'll maintain being the most by a large margin. That's just going to be how it is. Let's go over a few of the other things here. You got the class breakdown per server. I'll go ahead and link this down in the description of the video so you can take your own, however much time you want on your own and kind of go through this. We're just going to go through it real quick because this video is actually about the current patch and not this patch. But again, I wanted to compare this to when they do come out with a comprehensive breakdown of the current patch. So naturally, naturally PvP has the highest number of rogues. Everybody's trying to hide and stuff. But the other two servers, Beast Lords, are the number one. Let's go down to race breakdown. Goblins had the highest on the PvP, and the other two were humans. Overall, it was humans. And then they have a breakdown of the top 5 server race class combinations per server. So you can see that there. Come down to top 10 poop sockers per level, per server, aka the top 10 highest level characters. So this was for the previous playtest, not the one that just ended. So keep that in mind. And you see the highest levels here for each server. You can see Rel had a level 22, so that was the highest in the game. Justicia, the level 22 cleric, highest in the game as of the previous playtest. These numbers are obviously going to go up. You can see, shout out to Dirty Old Socks. He made the top 10 on my server with a level 16. Spoiler alert, I think he might be around level 27 now or so after this latest playtest. And shout out to Ishtar. I think this is a guildie of mine. I'm going to have to send them a message in the next playtest. I believe this is a guildie of mine from back in the day from the Filthy Casuals. So let's see here. Level distribution. So you can see, obviously, there's going to be the most level 1s. People make characters, run around, and then log out or what have you. Even I did that with an elf to check out the city, the elf city. But as you go all the way down, we'll scroll a little bit here, you'll see that number, that one level 22 here on Rel. That was Justicia. But let's see some of the numbers here. You can see once you get to your mid-teens, there's a massive drop-off. I keep saying this, but again, these numbers are going to be, you know, much higher come the next set of info and data that comes out. So next up, you got the total NPC kills. You can take a look at that. Total player deaths. You can take a look at that one there. You got top 10 looted items. Bone chips across the board. You can take a look at the top 10 items there. We'll go in a little harder when we look at the latest one. I'll probably go through more than just the top one. But like I said, this is old data. Just want to compare a few things. Top 10 wealthiest players. Putting some people on blast here. The moguls of the servers. You got Sauce, the number one over here with 32,246 copper. It's measured in copper. What this, if you do the math, this is 3.2 gold. It's 100 copper for a silver, 100 silver for a gold, 100 gold for a plat. So this is going to be 3.2 gold, and that's the most anybody had was 3.2 gold. Let that sink in. Now, this is another number that's going to be obviously inflated come the next set of data. As people get higher level, you know, the money will just start multiplying at a higher rate. Top 10 deadliest NPCs, a skeletal warrior. It's going to be, you know, newbie zone's obviously going to take that one. Top 10 hardcore players, shout out to Arrow or Urho, level 13 monk. Oh, that's what's up. Top 10, top trade skill players per server. A couple of standout ones here is, you got Grizzface with blacksmithing at 75. And you got a pistol, fletching at 100. Big time. Pretty cool. I'll be curious to see what that is with the after the latest. And then the last thing here is the report of bugs and what have you. There were 108 opened petitions. 107 of those were closed. The last one that didn't get closed was probably like very last second before the servers came down. Bug reports, there was 416 bug reports, and this is what it's all about. This is what we're doing the playtest for. It's not for our entertainment as much as it is to report bugs, so when the game goes into early access, you know, these bugs do not exist in theory and best case scenario. So let's go back to what this video is ultimately about, as we are already very far into the video. This is going to be a long one. Like I said, use timestamps. So let's take a look. We got the concept art and UI, created environment concepts for the Underdogs. Module 1 zone. Module 1 meaning the first major patch after early access. Early access is in first quarter of 2026. So when anything refers to Module 1, it's going to be the first major patch after the game comes out. Created environment motif concepts for Undisclosed Expedition Zone. Created character concepts for Deep Elves and Deep Elf Armor, a race that's coming out after early access is launched. Planned for Deep Elves and Deep Gnomes. Created concepts for Basilisks. Created new icons, new item icons. Completed UI work for to allow for a collapsible panel in the primary character sheet, a mini stats pop-out window, a context menu that appears when right-clicking the character sheet. Reworked the merchant view with options to lock your equipped items and only show items of interest to the vendor. Added window scaling to customize many GUI elements. Let's take a look at some of the art here. You can see when it goes from the original vision to a more filled out vision. It's nice. Here's some of the these are Deep Elves. Some of the concept art for the Deep Elves. This is going to be, I believe, for the deep gnomes that they mentioned. The deep races, there's 3 of them. that they've announced, and they'll be coming out after early access. This is some of the basilisks, some of the items. You can actually watch, oh shoot, Goblin Workshop. If that's not his exact name, I'm sorry. You could watch Goblin Workshop make these live. He does live streams. A lot of the devs do live streams. You can watch them make zones. You can watch them work on character assets. You can watch them work on the little item, thumbnail dealies here. I just watched him. He actually did back-to-back streams the last couple of days, and just making these items from scratch. It's pretty impressive, and I don't want to say quickly, but compared to anything that minor that I can do, these are very detailed and nice looking, and he's so skilled that he makes it look fast and easy, which 100% definitely is not. He's obviously a professional at what he does. Very cool to sit there, shoot the shit with him while he creates these live on stream. Pretty damn cool. Here's that slider that was mentioned for the stats. You can just click it open or click it closed. Take up less of the screen with the UI. Detached stat screens. Some more of the stuff that they spoke about. The slider to resize some of the things. All right, character art. Added new crafted plate armor textures. Added the treant model. Added the donkey model. Added the shark model. Updated several LERP colors. Started work on the specter model. Started work on the deep elf player model. Started work on deep gnome player model. So here's the plate armor model. Here's the treant. Here's the treant compared to a human. The donkey. Some of the shark models. The deep elf models. She's wicked looking. All right, we got animations. Added wood elf special attack animations. Added ratman animations. Two-hand spear attack. Two-hand swing attack. Block and dodge. Added myconid, treant, and bear animations. Added giant swimming and combat animations. Added skeleton sit and death animations. Overhauled skeleton rig. Added treant and bear rigs. So let's take a look at those. So here's the animations they were speaking of. Also the Ratman animations. The spear one, I like that. Yeah. You got the myconid, or the myconids, the mushrooms. So it looks like you got the running animation, you got the spell cast animation, bling, and then you've got the incapacitated or stunned animation and the death animation. So is that what we'll get for all of these? You got the giant casting animation, the giant swinging animation, the giant stunned or incapacitated animation, some giant swimming animations, still or treading water or moving forwards, and you have a giant sit animation. There's a bigger one. This is like the giant taunt or maybe shout. And some of the skeletal animations. And you have race specific skeleton models here. You have a goblin skeletal model. Obviously a dwarf with a gigantic hilarious beard. Love it. This is the charm we're talking about, right? Some of us who are, covering the game or promoting the game, or even just playing the game, talking about it. Something like this is just like, how is that not charming? You know what I'm saying? It's a prime example. And then over here we have what I'm assuming is, this one's a little tougher, but probably the ogre. We have bear models. Very nice. All right, some environmental art. Continued work on Phalindrol. Completed some detailing work on Rothold, Module 1 Dungeon Zone. So Rothold, a dungeon that will be coming out again in the first patch after early access. Began/continued work on Scarwood, extra early access zone designed by the community on stream. I want to kind of just highlight this. Shawn, or the guy who writes this up, or A Loving Robot, does streams, I think he does once a week for this. I believe he streams about twice a week, but one of those streams, you know, don't hold me to this, but like one of those streams every week. And you can check out the VODs again on the Monsters and Memories YouTube channel, link in the description. You could check him out. He designs a zone and takes the community feedback. So if you show up to the stream, you sit there and you chat with the other guys waiting for the game to come out. You chat with him or the other devs whenever they're streaming. And as he's creating the zone live on Twitch, which eventually the VOD gets to YouTube, you can sit there, you can give input, you can say things, you can ask questions, and you can kind of pick his brain, / he takes inspiration from the viewers and stuff like that. Very, very cool, unique, and as far as I know, I don't know if anything like this has been done before. Very, very cool. You know, you might mention something in chat and he goes, oh, you're right, let me change that. And then forever, whenever you're playing the game, you go to that zone and you look at that thing, you could be like, I remember when I said that in chat and that got tweaked because I brought it up or something like that. It's just like a cool little button that you can think of whenever you play the game in the future, or just be there and hang out. And I think a lot of people who come to these streams they're just gonna fall in love with the zone. They're gonna hang out in the zone. The zone's gonna be like their home. They're gonna feel comfortable there, and they're just gonna remember the times from before the game was even out with the zone. And this is very, very cool aspect that I don't think, you know, has really been done before. I'm at a loss for words. I can't even just explain it. I can't wait for this to come to fruition and just to feel and be part of that. Continued vertex painting in the harbor. Continued expansion work in Night Harbor sewers. There's going to be a sewers below Night Harbor, kind of like Freeport sewers, and it's going to be a whole like nether level to the city. We don't have access to that right now, but it's being worked on. Update some areas in Keeper's Bite, Fallen Pass, and Glass Flats. Added some props and VFX for the undisclosed early access expedition dungeon. Began work on undisclosed expedition outdoor zone. Added the basic and gothic weapon sets as props. Added gray stone mining node variants for non-desert regions, different mining nodes for trade skills. Continued propping, adding camps, bug fixes, and polish in various zones. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. This is the Wood Elf town that's up in the trees, you know, much like Kelethin. Very, very cool. You can kind of see it now. It's very dark, like you see in this third picture here. You can kind of see it in game now, but it's an unfinished zone, so they're continuing to work on it, you know, to get it ready. This here, I believe, is the sewers underneath. Is that right? The sewers underneath. I think these are the sewers. I'm not 100% sure. We'll just keep going. Some of the zones and stuff they're working on here. More Night Harbor and stuff. Maybe these are the sewers. This looks more like the sewers. Okay. Maybe they both are. Who knows? We're just looking at some of the art mentioned in what I just read. Very cool. You can even, you know, you can click on these and kind of just take closer looks and stuff, and go through them. Link down in the description, like I said. They also have, they came out with some more audio music, and another video on their YouTube page. More soundtracks and everything done by, I forget his name right now. Do we have it here? I don't think we do. Let me just No, we don't have it here. But they have a page on there as well where you can just listen to the soundtrack and all of that stuff, and they just keep adding to it over time. 8 hours of Fantasy Night ambiance that you could just have playing in the background. All right, some zone stuff here. Shallow Shoals added new sound for the ocean surface waves, 2 waterfalls with different recordings, so the waterfalls sound different. Nice touch. And Rock Formation Rumble added different ocean sounds for day and night with a 1-hour crossfade at dusk and dawn. So this is probably 1 hour in-game time, which is, obviously much shorter. But as it goes from dusk to dawn, and vice versa, there is a little unique sound that you can hear there, a little mix of them. Added SFX for lighthouse and orb trails. We got Fallen Pass. Added a Thunder Canyon state that bounces thunderclap sounds between the cliff walls when players are between them. That's pretty damn cool. So sound is going to echo if you are in the right areas. Added pond, river, and waterfall sounds. Night Harbor. Added Shoreline at Sea by Water Gurgle. Bay Water Gurgle. Stream sounds, 4 new audio sources. Added whistling wind sounds at the Wormsbane tunnel entrance. Nice. Eerie. Oh, speaking of eerie, added eerie low-frequency drone sounds near the Wormsbane zone entrance. Oh, nailed it, I guess, by accident. Shaded dunes. Added shoreline and river split audio emitters that follow the player's position. Sungreat Strand added sound to the remaining water bodies. General. Updated audio kinetic WYs to version 2024.1.5. Generated our first sound banks for Mac and Linux. Okay. So if you were wondering, somebody asked, I had no idea, but apparently it will be available for Mac and Linux, it seems. Created the effect of thinner air at higher altitudes using RTPC real-time parameter control linked to the player's altitude, which controls a high pass filter on the ambiance bus and WYs. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not too technical with this stuff. It also lowers the audio volume of crickets by fading them out as the player levitates, or maybe even elevates. Crazy. That seems super high tech. Limited audio stingers, level up, quests, complete, death, etc. to a single voice instance to prevent overlap. When leveling up while turning in a quest, the level up stinger takes priority. Okay, so it's not like all crazy. Additionally, only one quest complete stinger will play when handing in multiple items. I know on Quarm you can hand in stacks of quests, and this all stacks on top. All the noise stacks on top of each other. It gets a little hectic and crazy and loud. Added sound effects for opening and closing stone doors. Added giant footsteps, death, and falling to the ground sounds. Added bell sounds to the lifts in Evershade Wield. Added an idle sound control script to handle idle sounds for much better control. Added this script to the skeleton prefab. Added zombie wheezing idle sounds. Implemented a new spline follower script that allows us to attach audio emitters to non-linear and sound sources, such as rivers, curved shores, so they can follow the player more naturally along the path. Fixed an issue where the background sounds and background music functions didn't work. Repaired the toggle music and toggle sound keybinds. Fixed lingering underwater sounds when zoning out from Ancient Crypt. Fixed an error in the event position confiner script. Updated the Axe sound engine controller script. Cleaned up palm tree prefabs from redundant audio components that took tons of resources. Increased the max instance limit on the spell sound actor mixer to mitigate dropouts and spell casting sounds. Fixed certain WY's events that were lingering after zone out from Shaded Dunes. Removed the bird sounds from Fallen Pass. Fixed a voice starvation error in Wormsbane. Completed additional audio bug fixes and optimizations. Okay, bunch of sound stuff. that I'm not privy to. Next up, design. Systems slightly increased the Veil of Zintar sphere of influence radius. Significantly increased the Caves of Irem sphere of influence radius. Added holy resistance. Okay. Removed the pet summon command. Added the possibility of rain to more zones. Everybody's favorite right there. Adjusted rain frequency and storm intensity. That might fix everybody's favorite right there. Added more available skills to class trainers. Now that's interesting. Gonna have to go back to the class trainer when we all log in next time and see if there's anything new for us. Fix the PvP loot bug. Wasn't aware of that. But maybe, you know, this is something that maybe somebody's looking forward to. Traits. Added the Holy Restraint trait. Decrease the skill rate adjustment or refining, crafting, and core gathering trading trade skill traits from 25% to 5%. That's a massive decrease. I think I did choose one of these. When I made my character, one of the traits I chose was a trade skill trait, and that's getting nerfed from 25% bonus to 5%. That seems kind of extreme. Won't be surprised if that gets bumped a little. Maybe 10%? I don't know. Enabled the Poison Maker trait. Probably specific to rogues. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe shamans. Factions. Fixed an issue where NPC pets would sometimes cause a faction war. Hilarious. Content. Changed the appearance of factions of Night Harbor North Bankers. Updated Bard NPC abilities list. Increased the difficulty of many Fallen Pass named mobs. Okay. Adjusted many Night Harbor factions. Continued population work in Keeper's Bite and Shallow Shoals. Added additional camps to several existing zones. Very nice. That's very nice. I did get a little frustrated with the amount of people in the zones and hard to find some mobs. So very, very cool. I like that. Added a guild registrar to Evershade Wield. Rebalanced Skyseer Ilia. Fixed several trainers that were not set up properly. Reduced the Guardian of Life font's level from 60 to 40. Updated itemization for the Guardian of the Life font. Implemented various bug fixes from friend and family playtest feedback / bug reports. Next up, we got quests. Added starter quests to Evershade Wield for archers, bards, beastmasters, druids, fighters, rangers, rogues, and shamans. I believe this to be this is the Wood Elf starting area. They're still working on that a lot, so it seems like they're coming along. Fixed the wizard starter quest in Night Harbor. Updated the Ashira faction quest. Adjusted several class quests rewards so that they are usable by all races. Reviewed all current quests for grammar, spelling, formatting, and style issues. Next up, trade skills. Changed leatherworking recipes for hides to use newer components similar to the crafted rawhide armor. Changed tailoring recipes for wool to use newer components similar to the crafted fine cloth armor. Adjusted various trivial skill levels. Increased gem rate from mining. Didn't seem that bad, but okay. In fact, it's kind of annoying when you're mining because you do not have very much bag space and you're getting all these different gems. It takes up a ton of bag space. It is what it is. First world problems. Got too many gems, bro. Made canvas and strap recipes similar to their trivial skill levels. Fixed hide armor recipes to properly use hide canvas instead of rawhide canvas. Adjusted leatherworking armor recipes to use tailoring created padding instead of thread. Adjusted tailoring armor and leatherworking armor recipes to use merchant bought thread. Fixed certain recipe quantities. Adjusted alchemy potions durations and tooltips. Okay. Wow. This is quite the mouthful. We're getting there. I had to take a drink. Reviewed itemization. Reviewed Ancient Crypt itemization, reviewed Tel Ikir itemization, updated Fallen Pass itemization, tweaked and balanced various items, added higher tier player crafted thread items, nice, added higher tier player crafted canvas items and fastener items, adjusted the tailoring created thread cost, adjusted the leatherworking created canvas cost, leatherworking created strap cost, blacksmithing created fasteners cost, adjusted scrap cost. I'm interested in that one because I was buying a lot of scraps there at the end. Assigned an icon for coarse sand, fixed a typo in minor serums, and expanded the tooltip. Slightly increased scraps drop rate, okay, because we don't have skinning yet, and I couldn't help but notice that skinning doesn't seem to be added yet either, so they still need to add skinning, and then we won't rely on scrap drops as much. Although you can break down armor, it's not the most cost efficient. Reduce the weight of ore, stone, and limestone. Yes, this was a massive issue for me. If any of you watched my, probably the last stream I did, I kept having to go to town because I was trying to level up trade skills, and it weighs a ton. The ore, stone, and limestone weighs so much. And I'm a strength-based class. Added self and group teleport spells to Evershade Wield spell merchants. Fixed shirt slot item weights as they were incorrect, set to the wrong values after we converted them from the armor slot. Yeah, that makes sense. I was overweight a lot there at the end because I'm wearing plate armor and stuff, so any kind of weight I could shed, I'm all for. Corrected ability scrolls to ability scroll costs for level 50 to level 60. Slightly lowered the acquisition level of Tier 2 basic drops. Slightly lowered the level at which Tier 1 basic drops stopped dropping. Adjust the volatile rift potion and cast to cast instantly and be consumed on use. Adjusted the crafted thrower dagger cost. Adjusted the crafted throwing dagger cost. Started review of Fallen Pass itemizations. Okay, moving to that new zone. Added new lerps for alchemy serums. Increased the brightness of light sources. Awesome. It's very dark. Updated satchel item icons. I think we saw some of these item icons that they're talking about. I think we saw up there in those pictures. Itemized shark and treant NPCs. They drop items now, I guess. Reviewed all current item descriptions for grammar, spelling, formatting, and style issues. General abilities. Reduced the periodic chance for charm abilities to break early where applicable. Increased the max levels of non-enchanter beguile tier charm abilities from 23. Some of these are a mouthful. Changed the cleric shock nuke line and holy strike to use the holy element. They added holy, I believe, this patch, right? Created the holy resistant ability and buff for the holy restraint trait, or maybe they just added those traits. Added abilities, holy protection and holy resistance. Removed exsanguinate. Increased the level of speed of the predator. What's speed of the predator? Is that like a higher version of so? Fixed an issue where Evershade Wield self and group teleports were not properly applying their port effects. Increased all auras to 30 meter range. Hell yes, I use 2 auras. Doesn't really affect me as I am the user of the aura, but if I'm in groups. Changed all mesmerized spells to the Conjuration School of Magic. Changed Reclaim Essence to the Conjuration School of Magic. Beneficial Dispel abilities can no longer be resisted. And that was probably a bug. Reduce the total healing of, imagine resisting a heal or something. Or I guess I want to be a beneficial ability. But you resist like a armor buff or something. Reduce the total healing of the highest level tier of heal unique lines to 1800. Reduce the mana cost of the highest level tier of healing unique lines from 500 to 450. Reclaim Essence can no longer be used on charm pets. Fixed an issue where druids and rangers still had access to the invisibility spell. They have the camouflage line now. And rangers also have the shroud line. Decreased pet levels by 1. Ooh, pet classes getting a little nerf there. Increased trance's mana cost from 40 to 160. Holy smokes. Seems like a lot. Changed Zeal's level haste, scaling from 60% at level 48 to 65 at level 55 to 60 at level 44 to 65 at level 50. Changed the anti-undead abilities to Holy Resist. Added the Spirit Break ability line for Necros and Shadow Knights. The Mana Burn line now works beyond the first rank. Reduced weapon shield physical damage reduction from 10% to 5%. It's a nerf there. What is that, Rangers? Removed Unnerving Whale. Not even sure what that was. All right, we got some classes now. Bards. Sonnet of the Unseen now breaks properly under the right conditions. Molto Allegro can now cast while moving. Molto Allegro is now considered a primary haste and does not stack with other forms of primary haste. Big nerf. Beastmasters. Level 36 pets now do less damage than level 40 pets. LOL. Quite the bug. Removed bat form. Okay. Clerics replaced Atonement with Chasten. It added ability Atonement. Short and sweet. Druids, Whisper of FS, reduced Whispers of FS from level 40 to level 20. Updated the tooltip to now specify the increased mana return. Reduced the cost of Whispers of FS scroll to match the level 20 ability cost. Added ability line Bear Pets, level tiers 1 through 8. Okay, so just a whole different pet line. Fixed Grip of Nature so that it doesn't break after a tick. Wow. Added the ability Coax Beast, aka Charm Beast. Added ability Persuade Beast. So like another, just a higher rank probably. Increases bear pet levels. Added higher level Sanctuary. Evac ability line for available teleports. Moved Summon Drink from level 4 to level 12. Nature Skin no longer stacks. Can no longer stack. Fixed an issue where the ability Scroll for Sanctuary Sungreet Strand couldn't be used. Changed the Unity resist element to magic. Unity is now slightly more difficult to resist. Fix an issue where Unity would not cast on the enemy targets. Removed abilities Summon Firewood and Conjure Firewood will likely be reworked and implemented in the future. Fixed an issue where the Druid Bear Pet did not have Taunt. The Bear Pet now has access to Charge. Charge currently does not work for NPCs. Elementalist. Added ability Coax Elemental and Persuade Elemental. Nice, you can charm elementals. Fixed an issue where which caused Commune of the Honorables cast animation to persist indefinitely. Hilarious. Fixed an issue where minor creation water was not creating a pet. Expanded the Heal of Elements ability line with Revitalize the Elements and Rejuvenate the Elements. Fixed an issue where elementalists could not scribe Rejuvenate the Elements. Enchanters. Memory Fog now has a chance to critically fail. Yikes. Renamed Enchant Allies Runeskin to Enchanted Runeskin. Increased Enchanted Runeskin's Absorb from 25 to 25 at level 8 to 800 at level 52. Fixed the tooltip for Enchanted Runeskin. Enchant ally abilities can now be cast while the enchanter is sitting. Beguile now properly applies its effect. Added ability Coax, added ability Persuade, added ability Amnesia. Updated the Amnesia's tooltip to be more accurate and descriptive. The Runeskin line no longer stacks with another caster. Decreased Enchanted Runeskin's duration from 30 minutes to 6 seconds. Increased Enchanted Runeskin's cooldown from 20 seconds to 30 seconds. Seems extreme, not really sure what's going on there. Don't know what that spell is for you enchanters. Mana Drain line reduces the mana drained and mana cost by half. Now has a 30-second cooldown. Removed the casting sound. Modified the casting hit sound. So enchanters were the mana drainers. Okay. Fighters. Increased offensive stance physical damage buff from 10% to 15%. Frenzy now also increases your melee attack speed by 10% for 1 minute. Updated the offensive and defensive stance tooltips to show the correct physical damage increase/reduction. Decreased Unnerving Shout's physical damage reduction from 15 to 5. Oof. Unnerving Shout is now level 5, up from level 2. Double oof. Battle Cry is now level 2, down from level 5. Okay, I see what they're doing. Inquisitor dominate the mind. Now has oh my god. Inquisitors dominate the mind is now an innate ability. Monks fix the stone stance tooltip to correctly state that it reduces melee damage, not all damage. So I guess it was always doing it. It just didn't state it very well. Paladins, here we go. This is me. What do we got? Attempted to correct an issue which caused the Ancient Guardian to kill you when expired. Crazy. I don't have that skill yet. Ancient Guardian's level now scales with you. Good to know. Increased Divine Light's heal from 30 to 30 at level 12 to 700 at 54. Seems like what they did with other heals for other classes. Decreased Divine's Light cast time from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. Alright, so pretty much nothing that affected me yet. Necromancers, remove the health drain line. Not life drain line, the health drain line. So you still have the life drain line, not sure what the health drain line was. The self mana regen line no longer stacks with enchanter mana regen buffs. Oh, what? So like your lich or whatever? Imagine in EverQuest your lich line stacking with clarity? Wild. Doesn't anymore. Added ability Coax Undead, added ability Persuade Undead. So more, if you couldn't do it already, more charm line. The Lich line of abilities now properly gives a skeleton illusion, nice. Fixed Lich's Lich Spirit cooldown, cast time and duration. Expanded the Mend the Dead ability line with Stitch the Dead and Reconstruct the Dead. So you got a couple more ranks there. Rangers. Fixed an issue where Shroud and Greater Shroud were not properly applying their invisibility effect. Big oof, but nice, it's fixed. Rogues. Fixed an issue where stab/backstab would roll for 0 damage. Absolutely hilarious. Imagine the bad rep rogues have now in EverQuest, but being able to backstab and it rolls a 0. So 0 times, you know, whatever, 300 equals 0. They already have a bad rep now as is. Oh my god, hilarious. Rogues fixed an issue where sap would not work on all races that the tooltip said it did. Fixed backstab damage again. Fixed snaring poison, cool. Added ability pickpocket, nice. Rounding out rogues. You know, this game's really cool, taking a lot from World of Warcraft Classic and taking a lot from EverQuest. Really cool. Right up my alley. Shadow Knight, Aura of the Unholy now properly scales. Dude, Shadow Knights sound fun. I want to check a Shadow Knight out before the game goes into early access. Shamans, increased Spirit Wolf pet levels. Reduced Spore Discharges heal over time effect from 10 health, level 10, to 600 health, level 52, to 10 health at level 10, to 450 health at level 52. So a little bit of a nerf there. Wizards, reduced Arcane Infusion's mana regeneration from 1 to 25 at level 60 to 1 at level 1 to 15 at level 60. Increased, seems like a pretty big nerf for mana-hungry wizards. Increased Seal of Magic's Mark of Magic effect from 1% per stack to 4% per stack. Max stacks increase of 5% to 20%. Fixed ability names for the Blanket of Fire line. Blanket of Fire now does the appropriate amount of damage. Added a higher level evacuation ability line for all available teleports. Fixed the spell haste line, giving too much spell haste. Ooh. Fixed an issue which caused invert gravity cast. Like gravity flux? What is that? Invert gravity cast animation to persist indefinitely. Wild. All right, on to tech fixes. Based on the scroller, we're getting close to the end here. Fixed a bug where you could see invisible group members. Fixed /who guild name not working correctly. Fixes to static placement tools. Fixes to the random command. Fixed a non-players being included in /who queries with level constraints. Fixed spell gem hotkeys when using the stack size selection interface. Fixed receiving timeout messages after declining a group invite. Fixed showing class descriptions on items with slot mask 0 and class mask 0. Fixed reagents not consuming on item cast. Fixed a null ref when a campfire that's being used for crafting burns out to prevent it from eating items you have left in the crafting window. Oh, brutal, but nice fix. Fixed some characters using fallback fonts. Fixed campfire flame visuals being inconsistent. Casting an ability with an effect that would give you a unique item that you already have will fail at the end of the cast window, cast without consuming reagents and let you know why. That's good. Fixed not sending hotbar and macro data to client after crash and quickly return. Gave the harvest ability message chat channel of ability main. Wow. Gave the harvest ability message a chat channel of ability mine instead of none, so they are flexible, filterable. Jesus. Removed duplicate begin harvesting message. Failed more gracefully if there was a problem reading from chat's v1.json. Only send the vial of smoke message to clients targeting the disappearing caster. Allow all classes to use throwing weapons to be able to gain skill points in throwing. Fixed cooldown reduction effect not working. Fixed crit fail message to normal message both being sent. Fixed AoE effects failing the level requirement check when the data is set to a -1. Fixed punctuation on loot coins message. Fixed objective placement not canceling if you camp while placing an objective. Fixed crafting recipes through experimentation. Performance improvements to recipe retrieval. Fixed ingredient overlay colors in crafting window. AoE abilities assigned to a player. Pet will now work correctly. Activatable abilities now go on cooldown if the associated buff is removed for any reason. Polished tweaks to the inventory avatar. A team of helpful gnomes assisted by less helpful goblins have plugged leaky ceilings across the realm. Okay. Numerous performance improvements, occlusion, NPC swimming and animation, minor rework of the way stance/aura abilities are handled on the client and server. Haste effects no longer receive bard instrument bonuses. Fixed discrepancy between level meditate was trainable at and the level you'd start getting skill ups for hybrids. NPCs now get their intended mana regeneration while in combat. Fixed several issues caused when doing a /reload. Sort AoE targets so that the intended target is always included. The closest target are chosen first, and min-max level limits of the ability are applied. Item with more than 99 charges will now always display a gauge instead of a text display. Ensure active items are deactivated when removed for any reason. Fix the reclaim essence ability not applying correctly. Fix several instances where movement was still allowed while feigned. Make ascending to water's surface a little easier and jumping at water's surface more intentional. Bubbles while swimming should no longer show for some races when your head is above water. the water surface. Reloading while swimming, while no longer break the swimming animation. I think I meant will. Fixed player trades. Players can now manipulate items / coin before a complete trade is selected to lock the trade in. Fixed aura message spam for group members when certain classes with auras level up. Fixed / target to more appropriately match the nearest player's NPC with a minimum number of characters of 2. Example / target A1. Fixed threat system to properly remove threat for skills which reduce threat on the target and those skills to scale appropriately with player level. Fixed to zone starting empty. Fixed to zones starting empty. Fixed to volume-based entities such as inns and zone lines breaking. Fixed to zone lines not working if they overlap with other zone lines. Fixed refueling of lanterns. Fixed housing doors. Fixed NPC sitting and thinking when they need to be moving to their next waypoint. Close some cooldown / reload or zoning-based exploits. Fixed some performance bottlenecks relating to animation. Bottlenecks relating to loading zone data. Bottlenecks relation to creating and destroying entities. Changed how charms and roots break. Changed to address feign death exploits. Mob HP changes. Mob resist changes. Changes to address kiting exploits. Fixes to mob pathing, where someone uses a navigation exploit and the mob cannot get to you. Added anti-cheesing code related to navigation. Fixes to group XP distribution. Mobs differentiate being very snared and rooted, preventing mobs from turning around and attacking you when they are snared. And have very low health. Pets no longer forget to /pet back as they are attacked again. That's good. I think that's an EQ1 problem. Fixed melee and ranged slows and range hasted. Fix for monks unequipping two-handed staves and then losing their offhand punches. Adjusted lightning levels to give more lightning resolution. And by lightning I meant lighting. Lighting levels to give more lighting resolution. Adjustments to moons and some bug fixes related to moons. Moon bug. Ability to set mob spawn when successfully fishing for those big fishing based bosses. Added the ability to require reagents for a clicky item. Added the improved a number of GM commands. Good for you guys. Added notes in the description of food and drink items that they are a meal or a drink. Added min-max target level descriptions when inspecting abilities. Added confirmation to /spit command /clear command to clear your current chat window. The ability to set hunger and thirst modifiers for zones. /who level arguments to be separated. Oh, to allow that. More addeds. I'm just going to skip the word added. Support to respect ability cooldowns for item procs. Some additional error messages when involving an invalid player to guild. Inviting an invalid player to guild. /char alias to /char info command. Specific text for all emotes when you have yourself targeted. /welcome emote. Animation support for writing mounts. Recipes can now use tags to specify ingredients. Improved internal tooltip for placing harvesting nodes, adding weapon models, and configuring NPC appearance. Mounts controls such as mount /dismiss and mount inventory added to pet window. Added support for pickpocket ability. Quests can now require a certain skill level to activate. Item enhanced effects such as poison now use a click interference to select the item. Chat message persistence. Chat will now persist through zones. Bigger features. Mounts now have a dedicated set of equipment, including a rigging slot that controls what type of containers they can be equipped by the mount. Rigging changes for your mount between a rideable steed, a pack animal, or pulling a cart. When killed, equipment can be looted off the mount, or the mount can be brought back to life with a spell. While not quite ready for player purchase, support for purchasing mounts from stables has been added. Combat idle animations can now vary based on your equipped weapon. Ledgers, character, and social ledgers. Still some work to be done here. Styling added for UI checkboxes, sliders, and dropdowns. Individual window scaling. Most windows have the option to scale them up or down to customize their size individually alongside the size the UI scale. Independent chat settings menu. There is now a separate chat settings window in the main menu. Previous settings were under interface. Chat color selection, customize your chat channel colors. Player inspection system, you can press Y by default, or right click on a player target and select inspect to see items equipped. Shortcuts to your hotbar can now be added from any of your inventory bags, allowing you to swap equipment and use items like bandages, alchemy, or potions from inside your bag. In closing, that's about it. As I mentioned above, we've got another playtest coming up, so we'll be focused on getting ready for that. You've done a great job getting the word out. Thank you for your support, and please keep at it. As always, if you're looking for ways to help, share the game with folks you think might be interested and send them to one of the following links: Discord, Twitch, VODs on YouTube, mailing list. If you do bring new people to check out the game, we recommend sharing the video below with them. We found it to be incredibly helpful and wanted to spotlight it. While any comparison to other games is completely coincidental, since we're an entirely new creation that derives its inspiration from many different sources, we felt that this creator got a ton right. If you liked the video as much as we did, please give a cat with opinions a sub and a like on the video. Maybe the cat will make another one. See you in the update. I watched this actually before this came out. It is titled Advice for New Players Who Don't Have a Background in EverQuest. It's a good watch. And that's going to wrap it up. Wow, what a mouthful. Absolutely long video. Crazy. Way longer than I thought. I thought it'd be like maybe 40 minutes. That's over an hour. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.